Okay, hey, how's everyone doing today? So, you know my name by this point in our YouTube journey. My name is DR Osito Gordito or Gordito Osito, whichever one you want to call it by. So, I'm gonna be a little bit vulnerable today and tell you guys a story about how I decided to allow Cabarete, Dominican Republic, choose me. Not that I chose it, but how it chose me. So, I want to good stuff. Years ago, when one of my coworkers vacationed here often, and aside from all of the shenanigans he got involved in, he also said that it was a great place for him to unwind and find himself, and not just find himself in terms of like being free, but finding his true self, his true center, his grounding. So with that being said, he said you should definitely come down. At that time, I was in that mindset of having the whole rat race mentality and being an individual that, oh, I don't have time for myself. I have to work. I have to do this. I have so many commitments I have to go to. So I never made it down myself. Fast forward a few years later, I met somebody online, whatever, um, Punta Cana area. Needless to say, that didn't work out. But what I will say is that I did realize that when I came here, I instantly felt at home and at peace. But something said you need to still experience the North Coast. Fast forward, it is now the year 2020. You know what that was. Whatever you want to call it, whatever your experience was, we all know the entire world changed. The entire world stood still, literally and figuratively. Whatever your experience was, it was what it was. I will say for me personally, it's sad to say, but that was actually probably the best time of my life because that was the first moment that I actually was able to sit down and take a pause. I was able to actually have time for myself. I went from working 12-hour work days, work weeks. It was just crazy. I would leave the house by, let's say, 8 o'clock, the latest, and get back at 8, 9 at night. So just to kind of give you an idea of my life, I worked a very demanding job. It didn't have to be that way, but because I'm a giver and because I like to nurture, I go above and beyond and go the extra mile. So I work in arts education. So teacher, I'm a professional actor. I've done some other stuff as well, and I train a lot of the youth. So with that being said, I would overextend myself, and I found that I was extinguishing my own flame to ignite the fire in other people, which is great. I had no problem doing that. But what happened was I had no time to regenerate. But when the world reset, when the world took a pause, took a chill pill, I finally had time for myself. And I realized that I liked the silence. I missed the silence. I I craved it. For the first time, I was able to shut out the world, have peace. I was in my absolute favorite apartment that I've had in my entire life, besides the one I have here in DR. 3 bedroom, huge bathroom. Well, 2.5 bedroom, along with my office. Huge bathroom, balcony space that was I never got to utilize until the pandemic. So during those few months, well, during 2020, because we officially shut down, March of 2020, I was working from home, remote, teaching kids online, all that stuff. It was depressing because I was getting bombarded with a lot of emails from parents and getting updates about people's health, well-being. One of my students had her leg amputated because she had diabetes. Had another kid who I had no idea, but his mom reached out to me and told me that, you know, he was losing his eyesight. He was going blind. So, and then aside from that, her entire household they were all sick, and she mentioned that she's depressed. She doesn't know why she's the one that is not getting sick, but everyone else is, you know. So she was depressed about that. So she called me. We were speaking, and it was just so depressing. So I'm here in this state, hearing all this negative energy coming my way, you know. So I said, you know what? I need to take some time to just make it my place. I'm gonna get back to how I kind of found the Cabarete DR experience. So I went to my balcony and I tricked it out. A balcony that was a nice size that I never got to really utilize until the world was on pause, you know? I got all these fake artificial plants. I had by the time I was done, it looked like a terrace in Bali, you know, very bohemian. I went to and you guys know about Pier 1. Went to Pier 1. There was a Pier 1 going out of business near me because of what happened with the world. Things went out of business. I was finally able to really truly afford Pier 1. I got a Chase lounge, some chairs. I had purchased all these artificial plants, this beautiful divider thing. It was a beautiful terrace balcony. I spent so much time out there just feeling it, just feeling the vibe, feeling it, you know. In the midst of that, I started looking at potentially going on vacation. I had always said that I probably would retire somewhere like the Caribbean or something like that in the future when I'm old and all of that, you know. And I remembered as a child, I always said, I can see myself running away and living on like an island somewhere in a treehouse like that movie Blue Lagoon. If you're old enough, you know that movie, or Return to the Blue Lagoon, okay? And we'll get back to why that's important as well, the Blue Lagoon. If you know, you know. So I'm looking up things like that. In the midst of that, I discover some vloggers on YouTube, watching videos, seeing about the cost of living, seeing the beach life, seeing a more relaxed life. And then I found one particular YouTuber, and I just went down the rabbit hole, and I was glued. Found another, glued. So I'm like, yeah, in about 10 years, I'm gonna retire early in 10 years, and I'm gonna just leave. I'm gonna move there. I'm seeing their way of life. Then as I'm watching it, the videos start to become a little more current, and they start showcasing, you know, apartment deals and just the way of life in the state of the world that the state of the world was currently in. And I'm like, wow, cost of living, the importance of vitamin D. We need that sun. We don't get that sun. And a lot of times as melanated people, we tend to also not be in the sun that often unless it's the summertime, because we're stuck indoors as well, because it's winter in those places. Anyway, so I going down this rabbit hole. I said 10 to 15 years, I can see myself living there. Time progressed. Depression kicks in because of all the things that are coming at me, the negativity coming at me. You know, people around me are just getting sick and sick and sick. One of my best friends, who's actually a former student of mine, who's like a son to me, sick bad, to the point where he was in bed, ill. And he called, I think I called him, and he sounded so incoherent, whatever. And I'm just like, are you okay? He's like, he was gonna die pretty much, yeah. He was dehydrated. So I said, you gotta go get some coconut water or some Gatorade and he did that, and I kind of he had some water and Gatorade across the room. He literally crawled out of his bed, crawled because he was so sick, to get it, and then drunk the Gatorade. And he cried. He was all emotional too. He cried. He was like, "You saved my life." Blah blah blah. Yeah. If you're watching this, you know you were crying. But it just felt good to know that. Once again, I was extending myself and being there, doing what I do anyway. But the fact that I could hear the death in his voice, I could hear that he just wanted to give up. He wasn't willing to live, and he literally said, "I just want to die. I feel horrible," you know. Of course, he had that situation that the world was going through, and aside from that, he also had asthma, so it was like heightened. Anyway, and he's actually from Dominican Republic. He's Dominican. But fast forward a little bit, hearing all of this stuff and just being exhausted and just, I'm like, I can't deal with this anymore. It's a lot. It went from 10 to 15 years to 5 to 10 years. We're now in June, end of the school marketing term. I'm like, 5 to 10 years, I'm out of here. I can't see myself just, I need to be in a vacation mindset. And then I saw someone say something on there. Why is it safe to go on vacation when you can live on vacation? And it hit me. I'm like, wow. Because this whole time, I've never put myself first. I've always put others first, before me. I got to worry about the students, worry about the family, do whatever, you know? And right there, it clicked. Why save and wait to go on vacation when you can live on vacation? Let that sink in. I let it sink in. I already told you, one, it's June. I went from already saying 10 to 15 years, I'm retiring and I'm going to be living in the Caribbean somewhere, possibly Dominican Republic. I think I'm leaning towards that way. It went from that to 5 to 10 years, I'm gone. Summertime comes, July, August, around that time. I'm like, I gotta go back to work soon. The schools are now opening back up. They want us to report back to work. I'm like, you know what? I'm giving y'all 3 to 5 years before I just leave. From 10 to 15 to 5 to 10 to 3 to 5. Then what happened is, fast forward, it's now August, September-ish, around that, like August. It's actually the end of August before we go back to actual work. We go in for the whole teacher meeting pre-thing, all that thing, whatever. I go in, setting up classrooms. I start having anxiety. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I'm like, yeah, I need to take a leave or something. Not only that, I forgot to tell you guys, the year prior to the pandemic, the world shutting down, 2019, we had an assembly or something. Yeah, we had an assembly in the school where they were celebrating 9/11, all of that. Yeah, I was in 9/11, so I never dealt with that. You know what I mean? I never dealt with that, so I always pushed it away. So, make a long story short, I was going to FIT in New York, whatever, going to school. So I was going to school during the day and at night. I remember the night prior to 9/11, September 10th, I actually got out of class late, got in the house about maybe like around 12 midnight, overslept. I commuted to school, and I actually slept on the train and missed my stop. Took the PATH train, and I woke up in the World Trade Center in the towers because there's a train that actually stopped underneath me. This is on 9/11 now. I woke up on the in the train in the World Trade Center. I'm like, oh my god, I overslept. I missed my stop. So I get back on the train so I can head to class. I have to go all the way back, halfway, to then go to another direction. When I get out the train, I'm like, and pardon me for going on a tangent all over the place, whatever, but it kind of all goes to what I'm saying. And I realized, wait a minute, why is it so quiet? Any of you who know New York City, it's never quiet. It's never quiet. It's a city that never sleeps. Always something going on. But when I came out of the subway thing, it was super quiet. And I'm like, what's going on? No one was on the street. There were no cars moving. So yeah, I had like a little breakdown during the assembly, and I couldn't stop being emotional. It was crazy. And you know, guys, we don't really handle emotion like that. But I realized that I never dealt with that. So fast forward back to 2020, September, August time of that, when school starts in, I'm like, I can't do this. I need to just take a break or something like that for my mental health. And I was never really a person who really got into mental health like that, but it's a real thing. Make sure your mental health is on point and okay. So yeah, I leave and I go home. Here we go. I am pissed. Do you know how much longer this video was supposed to be? I went in when it stopped recording. This whole, oh my gosh. Well, this is YouTube. I'm still a beginner at this, whatever. Oh my, I went in depth. Oh my gosh. You see it's nighttime now, right? Like it's night. Like really? Well, guys, keep an eye out for which would have been part 2, but I guess it's gonna be 1.5 now, because oh my gosh, really? Okay, I gotta go play it back and watch it and see where the video left me off at. I'm pissed. Okay, with that being said, like, subscribe, all that good stuff that you guys do, that we tell you guys to do, because you want to and you want to. Do you know how much? It's dark outside now. I went in. It wasn't until I turned the thing around and said, "Oh, wait a minute, wait. That's not the screen. No, it stopped recording." Pissed. Okay, so with that being said, I'm not recording it right now. I'm not. I'll do that maybe tomorrow. Okay. Peace, love, hugs and kisses, all that good stuff. This is Dr. Osito Godito checking out. You can tell I'm pissed, right? Oh, really? Oh my gosh. It stopped recording. Okay, yeah. Peace. Pissed.